And hello there, Burke.
What is up, John?
Not much. It's a little toasty around. Well, today it's down a bit, but it's actually been warming up around here in San Diego.
Yeah, it's not been too bad here. It's been like I hate to start off the stream talking about the weather.
How's the weather over there, Burke? Let's do the weather report.
That's super exciting. That's what people want to tune into. It's been better. It's been in like the 80s, but the humidity is like 6,000%. So it's just as miserable, right? It's not oppressively hot, but you still don't want to go outside. It's not any fun.
Yeah. Well,
talk about the weather with us, chat.
Right. So last week I was telling you before the stream, but I went on a road trip. My brother-in-law and I took our daughters on a road trip up to like Hollywood and like up the coast a bit, and we rented a Fisker Ocean EV.
Dude, that company is gone, right? Like I heard they were liquidating the inventory.
I know. And this is his second company, I guess, to go bankrupt or
whatever. Oh no.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, most of them do, right? Like most companies don't work out.
Don't make it, yeah. And from driving it, I can understand them going out of business. Okay, so it was very comfortable. It was fun to drive. Also, the software would like freak out and go from like air conditioning to blasting the heater, or like lights wouldn't turn off.
That's disquieting for a car that really needs good software to function.
Right. So, I mean, it was fine to have for a weekend, but not something I would pay a chunk.
Did it have the solar roof?
It did have the solar roof.
Yeah, I've seen the MKBHD Marquez Brownlee's review of the Fisker Ocean, which is really good. It was one of the ones that he got in trouble for. They're like, Marquez killed the Fisker, and I was like, I don't think he did, man. Like, you can't. You have to. The thing has to be good.
Yeah, it really does. I mean, it has California mode. You push a button, all the windows go down, and the sunroof goes back, and it plays this sound. And
why is that California mode? Like the rest of us out here don't want to drive with the windows down.
Well, I thought you were talking about the humidity or something.
That is true. Yeah. No, don't put the windows down. You're right. That is California mode. Well, it's like Tennessee fall weather. All I'm saying is California doesn't have a monopoly on people who like to roll their windows down. All right.
That's true. So we're doing dark mode today, huh?
Yeah. Things are not.
It's not fully dark.
It's not fully dark. There's something is wonky, and I don't know what it is. So we can try to figure that out together. Let me just configure my screen for optimal.
I don't know sharing. If this is true. I only talk about Blazor in Spanish. However, this quote is in English, so I don't know.
Here, let me close the Prusa slicer. Do you have a 3D printer, John?
I do, but I haven't had it plugged in for years. It's like I never got
Does
it.
Your boss know that? I feel like that would be a ding for you.
I know.
Scott knew that you have a 3D printer. You're not doing anything with it.
So it's just never totally worked. I got one that was like okay, and I got it for my daughter. And every time we were trying to print something, it didn't really work, and she was like, "This is no fun." So,
what kind is it?
I forget. I honestly. Let me run and look. Why not?
Oh, look. Yeah, and chat. We're getting to the code. I promise. I'm configuring my screen here. What is All right. Get to the code. Fair enough. Let me close out all these chat programs so I don't get fired. Camtasia. That'll do. What is it, John?
I don't know. It says here. I'm gonna have to look. It doesn't have the name clearly written on it, which is not great. 3D printer. It was like seemed like a good deal at the time, and then I got Monoprice. I think it's Monoprice.
Monoprice?
No, here. I don't really know. Like I said, I haven't used it for years.
Oh, it looks really not. No, it's a Creality. It's Creality. Yeah. Let me see here.
Order.
It's This one, A1 Max, Future 3D printing. I mean, it looks really nice. I don't know what they're printing in there. It looks like a volcano.
Yeah. Yeah.
Can I say something controversial about 3D printing?
Why not? Let's hear it.
I don't understand. Every time I print something, it's not something that needs to exist. Like the other day, I printed a Minecraft sheep, which is like cool.
Mm-hmm.
But what is that? What is the utility of a 3D printer? Like I know people throw out there like, well, you can make like custom tools or custom fittings, or I just don't feel like that's actually happening. I feel like it's mostly people just like printing more crap that gets thrown away. Like landfills are full of filament.
You know, sometimes people be like, I made this replacement part and it's amazing. My brother does that some. My younger brother is pretty handy, and he'll be like, he was repairing something and the part was no longer available, and he found the thing for it and printed it and all that. I don't know. It's pretty neat, but...
In how many scenarios is a plastic printed part going to be strong enough to do? Like my kid was asking me, he's like, can you print some part he needed, like a cover for his supercharger or something on his Eclipse? And he even found the file. He's like, can you print this? And I was like, that's going to melt, man. Do you have any idea how hot a supercharger gets?
Yeah.
This needs to be metal.
Yeah. Okay. Hey, this is pretty cool.
What?
Thanks to Blazor, I have my job. I develop with .NET, and learning Blazor has opened many doors for me. That's pretty cool. I love
That's pretty amazing. Yeah. John, what do you owe your career to? What technology?
Technology career? Oh gosh, Visual Basic.
Oh man.
It goes back a bit. I got out of the Navy and I had read books about programming and had never taken any classes. And then somebody was like, yeah, you should get a job in VB. And I'm like, okay. So I read some books and then I went in and
yeah.
So I was doing desktop programs, and then I don't know. That is a thing I did.
Mine was also Visual Basic, but it was Visual Basic 6. And I was working in support for Sara Lee Foods, which I was working factories, and like essentially like people would be like, I can't log in to the AS400, and I would go reset their password. That's what I did. But I was trying to learn how to program. And so we had this help desk that we could call that was like a third-party company. Like if we couldn't resolve it, we could call them.
Mm-hmm.
And I called in one time and got to talking to the guy, and this was in India, and this guy we were talking about Visual Basic. He's like, oh yeah, I know Visual Basic. So I just started calling in and talking to this guy, and he's helping me over the phone build Visual Basic apps. Yes. And then I started deploying these apps where I worked. I was building applications. That's how I got into software development.
Nice.
Yeah, that guy, man, he was super nice. Dude, that's not even what we were paying him for.
It's just like, hey, help desk. Yeah, so my program won't work.
Yeah, exactly. Call up and be like, hey, man.
How do I open an Access database?
Exactly. How do I get data into this? Walk me through this. All right. That's a beautiful desktop. Let's GitHub. Let's go to the repo, because we have a PR in for the dark mode.
We do. And so last time we got it and we're like, yay, it's pretty cool. But there's a few things. One is it doesn't totally work if your system, what was it? There are some things that weren't.
Yeah. So let's talk about what works and what doesn't.
Yeah.
So what we did was, and let's compare this with the live sites. This is the live site.
Mm-hmm.
We added this toggle here. And it has light, dark, and system. And this appears to work. It also stores the preference in local storage, right? So if you leave and come back, it remembers. Did
you do that? You did that on your own, sneaky wise.
I did, yeah. Okay. And we can talk about how I did that in Blazor. I mean, it's not, to be honest with you, it's not very complicated.
Yeah, let's see. Because storing in storage,
local storage, yeah. It's essentially, let's see.
Did you just add it to the other stuff for storing?
I need to go to the dark mode toggle. No, I didn't. I left it in its own. You know, it's like the solution view doesn't update there. where is it? Theme switcher.
Mm-hmm.
So that really everything is just self-contained in this component because it felt like the logic didn't need to exist anywhere else.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So this thing just gets loaded in the nav bar. There was a lot of, like, you can see the markup that I'm doing here, which is like, I don't know why this is here. It's there for a reason. Anyway, don't look at that. So you can see here when it's initialized, right, it loads the preferred theme from local storage. The preferred theme is just a string. It's not a class or anything. It just, that felt like over engineering. It doesn't need to be an enum. It's just a string. And the one thing that we do have to do is we have to set the theme on the HTML. And so we have to call into JavaScript to do that.
But you've already got the JS runtime here, so that'll be not hard.
Right. Yeah. So that's already, working with JavaScript is pretty easy from Blazor. I really appreciate the bridge. It's not hard to do.
Yeah.
This didn't take long. This up here took way longer. All right. But the problem is, let's look at like what's not working instead of what is. So it works here and here, and it appears to work here, unless you happen to have your computer set so that dark mode is on, right? So in this case, I have application mode set to light. So when we do this, it doesn't work as well. Where did my browser go? So if we do here, if we go to light mode, you can see like that's not. And I don't understand why that's the case, because if you look at the HTML, there's no data theme equals light. That's what we're supposed to do. But it's only applying it to like this, to the text boxes, it looks like.
Okay. What about if you refresh the browser? Okay. Well, let's look at the CSS then. I'm guessing it's going to have to do with the CSS.
I assume that it has to do with that we need to specify a prefers color scheme light. But that just feels counterintuitive. It feels like dark mode should be a toggle.
Well, so either that or you can set all those things. Do you set all those things and then override them? You do. I'm just wondering, you can either have the prefers, or you can just make sure that you set every single thing that's going to get overridden otherwise.
But why do I have to do that? This doesn't make sense to me. It seems like Bulma should handle this. If I set the data dash theme to dark, then it should toggle on this stuff. And if I don't have it, if I set it to light, then it should toggle all this stuff off.
Can we look at the, maybe if we look in the browser dev tools and see, you know what I mean, and inspect stuff?
Yeah, let's see here. So what do we, let's see if we can get a, wow. The background, I'm just looking for something that's got a background here. That ain't it. Background, color, var, home, bottom, background. Oh.
Yeah, so what is that var then? Are we not setting that home, bottom, background in the, you know what I mean?
Yeah, on the body. Let's see here.
Yeah.
It's being set in two places, which is no bueno.
So there it is set. But is that variable being set above home, bottom, background?
It's set here. and it's set here. So it's set to basically white here,
Yeah,
black here. This should not be applied unless the data.
Oh, but so that's tricky though, because prefers color scheme dark.
Oh,
right. That's still.
Is this the whole problem?
I think so. Because we are now overriding that basically.
Oh, I gotta run it now
with the switcher.
Hold on. Did I fix this so that I could just run it with like one command? I feel like I did.
Yeah.
It's not ideal though, because you know what it asks you about, like a root edit?
Yeah.
You can't respond.
Oh.
But there should be a way, like a flag I can pass into the like
I think there
watch
is.
-- always accept root edits.
I bet there is.
Fix problem warnings and projects reference in.
That's a reply to the person above. Yeah. Okay. So. Yeah.
Because this is all baloney. These aren't even problems.
Yeah.
Min height auto is not supported in Firefox 22. So what do I do there? Does it need a prefix? You can remove the min height auto property from the text. Yeah, I know I can remove it.
Yeah, but that's just not supported by Firefox. I don't know how many people are.
This is such a weird. I don't even remember doing this. Interesting. And the rest of these, like, this is fine. This is the same error we were having.
Yeah.
And I feel like this should be fixed by now.
Because that was happening when it wouldn't build or something, right?
Source control. Yeah. I did an issue on this. And I thought it was going to be in the next release, but maybe not. All right. Terminal. It's running. Let's see.
404.
Didn't start the client. Don't you worry, John.
Serving from X drive. Is that your dev drive? You doing the dev drive, the Windows dev drive thing?
Yeah, I have a dev drive.
It's pretty cool.
I kind of like it because it's super easy to do, like I'll show you how I have everything set up here.
I have it on my laptop. I don't have it on my desktop. I had one weird thing where they don't really tell you when you set it up whether to use a VHD or to, a virtual hard drive or to partition. And I should have partitioned, I think.
I don't remember what I did.
I've had once or twice where it didn't find the VHDX or whatever, it didn't start up, and then it's like dev drive not found. And then I'm trying to do a presentation and all my SDKs and stuff weren't working. Hello, McNets. How you doing?
That sucks. Yeah, I think, I like the way that I do, the way that I structure my projects is I mirror GitHub. So these are all repos, and then inside of them are specific projects. I like the fact that it's like a drive and all of my projects are there, right? It's not a part of my regular. That alone is worth doing. Of course, you could do that with a folder.
Sure,
but
it's nice
I don't know about the speed, right? I know it's supposed to be faster. I don't know that I'm realizing the speed, but then again, I guess I'd have to go to a different standard drive.
It's supposed to be exempted from some of the virus scanning and stuff if you set it up that way too. So basically, you know how if you're npm installing and a bunch of files are being written or whatever, it's supposed to improve that. Okay, so this seems to be working, right?
No, because for the system, it should be dark.
Right.
Okay, so we do need said CSS. We do need this. It's just, do we need a prefers light to override this?
Maybe.
Or prefers color scheme dark. Wait.
See, there are two different things. Prefers color scheme is, I don't think that's great because that is saying that is the media that is the system setting, but we are overriding that based on the theme switcher. I don't know if I'm making sense there.
It does make sense. So it's like it would be, I feel like it would be something like we would need a prefers color scheme light.
Try it.
Right, because this is getting hit when the system color scheme is set to dark.
Yeah. It's just that. Yeah, okay. We could also have logic that basically in the theme switcher or whatever basically just looks and says if the color scheme is not set, or sorry, if the user hasn't made a thing, if it's the default
then
system,
set it to light on the,
then just set data theme equals light. I mean, that's another way to do it, but this is cool too. This should, as long as then we just have to make sure that those data themes are being applied.
All right, so this prefers color scheme light. Let's just try this. This feels redundant to me.
It feels very redundant. I don't think that's the right logo. Is it?
Oh, you're probably right. No, wait.
The one.
Oh, yeah, you're right. That would be images. It's probably just logo.
Yeah.
Okay. So here, this is the system mode. It still doesn't fix the problem of saying light.
Okay, so when you manually set it to light, none of that, those media things will always be applied. And then below that, there's that data theme dark stuff. So now if we're going to actually override everything, then you also need to do data theme light and set all that stuff too.
So we don't need this.
That's what I'm saying. I don't
gotcha.
think yeah.
So we do need this right here.
So you need that same thing with data theme light. And then I think we can also get rid of the prefers color scheme dark above too, probably.
But if we do that, then it's not going to toggle dark mode if you prefer dark mode. Like it won't set the system.
Okay.
Well, we can test.
Yeah. So those, then we need to change the selector on 40. Yeah. Dark is a weird looking word. Right. And then change the logo on line 63. Yes.
How did we pull that off?
I don't know. That was sweet. It's all working, but backwards.
Because it's literally backwards.
Because
I paint that. So this. Wow. Incredible.
Yeah.
Level of incompetence on this stream.
Jacob is correct. We did switch them up.
Okay.
I think we should also implement. This is a new innovation I'm giving away for free.
Woo!
We need also a theme random, and it randomizes all the variables for you.
Is that really a good idea?
You don't think that's a good idea? They'd be fully randomized.
I mean, I think it's fixed.
I think so. Well, okay, so the one last test to do is switch your system theme.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Default app mode is light. You know why I do this, John? So I can change the color of my taskbar. Because you can set the color of your taskbar here, I think. Wow. Yeah, see, you can set it to a different color. It doesn't look great on this monitor. It looks better on the other one. But you can only do that if you set the default Windows mode to dark. If you set it to light, you can only have the light bar.
Oh, that's weird.
If you set it to dark, you can have any color bar.
Okay.
That was free. That's free.
Pro tip. Yeah,
you just get that for coming to the stream. So we switch that back. See here. System looks good.
Yeah. I'm still going to need a pull request in there about random theme. And it'll save all that'll be so much ridiculous extra work. But,
Random theme? There's only two.
No. I mean, it would create a new theme for you.
Just on the fly?
Yeah.
Oh, gosh. I don't know, man. What's the value of said feature?
There's no value at all. Yeah.
Okay, this is looking pretty good.
I think so.
Ready to deploy? I'm ready.
Yeah, why not? Hello, Janescu. Welcome.
What's up, man?
So we did talk about some other features we could do. I messed around with creating I don't know, it's not really that exciting. I messed around with creating a health check API. And then we also talked about maybe adding in some AI. And then also one that's actually been requested a few times is stats. And we could figure out how we want to do that. But if I log in and I view something, I can see how many times my list was displayed or something.
Yes, like some baseline analytics that we could build off of. Mm-hmm. But yeah, every list should have a stats view that shows you how many times it's been viewed, how many times each link has actually been clicked on.
Yeah. And in order to do that, then we'd actually need to include click tracking, which wouldn't be hard.
No, it's just every time someone clicks on a link, we have to call to the
thing before navigating.
To click. Yeah.
Yeah. But that would actually be pretty useful. People have asked me about that because they want to know, are people actually viewing my thing and what's popular and
the easiest thing is just put every time that we request a list, we increment a counter on the list.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. Let's check our build out on GitHub. GitHub.com/ I changed the name of our, you know what else we should do? Look, I changed it to Blazor Static Web Apps. Is this the right name?
Yes, but I mean, what we could just call it, I don't know. Yeah, it is, I think.
All right. So while this is happening, I'll show you another problem we need to fix, John.
All right.
Not on Polite Beach, though. Let's go to prod. So if you do, currently, you can do this and that URL is already taken.
Mm-hmm.
But you can also get into a situation where
it's taken. Now, you cannot have an empty.
Yeah, you cannot publish this list. It's totally fine to have a vanity. That's the whole point, not to have a vanity.
Right.
We'll make one for you. What's happening here is that the debouncer is not working correctly. What's happening is if you hit a character and backspace fast enough, it clears the validation. It then takes it then reads the T after it reads the blank space, right? So it's like a timing issue. Here's another problem. You can't use test, but can you use test? Yes, you can.
Okay. We have important work to do.
I've already fixed it, and I can show you what I did here.
Okay. Oh, is that your fixed debouncer issues PR?
Yeah, that's the other PR. Let's see if our build is finished.
While we're talking about PRs, I want to call out, shout out to the top PRs from our viewers in the past 3 months.
You do it.
Okay, we're done. But just,
ouch.
But you're welcome to get us your PRs. For instance, that random theme color switcher. I really think that's a great idea.
Oh yeah, that's the PR that we need. Do not send that PR. Hold on. So this is dark. Let's put our app mode, our Windows, everything is dark. So then let's go.
It's all
dark. So there's system, there's light, there's dark. Let there be dark. If I put it on light, it should remember. It does. This is the greatest thing ever made.
I think I can do a new pull request too.
Make sure it's actually pulling. Yeah, all this looks really good. There's nothing here that I don't like.
I love the QR code. I'm just.
It's amazing.
It's pretty neat.
Easily the best feature. Better than a random theme switcher.
Well, you haven't seen it. I mean, I think it's something where you actually need to see it in action, and it's going to blow your mind.
It is true. I do get into discussions sometimes out here at Microsoft, or somebody will suggest something, and I just think in my mind, that is a really bad idea.
Yes.
But then we have this like fixed mindset, the fixed mindset. Right. And so I have to, but I do get into times where I'm like, I want to try this, but also this is a really bad idea. But like you said, you'll know. You haven't tried it. What if people love it? All right. I feel good about this. I'm going to push this to prod by going back to the repo manual yet again.
Neon Glow. Yeah. Janiska's got an idea. Like, seriously, we could have some real themes going. Also, that's going to help in our IPO as we turn corporate. We need to have like celebrating different months and stuff.
Well, you can't look. One of the reasons people love VS Code so much is because you can change the theme, right? You can't don't discount
theming.
The theming.
Yeah. Which, by the way, what's your current favorite theme?
Cobalt 2. That's the one that I use. And I'll put this up against anybody's theme. Come at me with your theme.
That's a nice one.
Chat right now. Right now with your theme. Because I'll tell you why this is the best theme. Here's why. Okay. People like dark mode because they think that it somehow is better for your eyes or is a better way to write code. It isn't. Okay. Light mode is actually better for reading comprehension.
Yeah.
Right. And it doesn't do anything to your eyes. I know people, but however, there is one color combination that is actually better than light mode, which is why your Kindle is default light mode. And that is yellow text on a dark blue background. That is the easiest for comprehension. And this theme does this so well.
Oh, it's nice looking too.
It's so easy to read. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
It's Cobalt 2. Cobalt. Okay. Cobalt. Not Cobalt, y'all. Not Cobalt. Cobalt. Right there. We have someone has forked and published this to get 10,000 installs.
Wow.
Please don't do that. At least this person called it generic fork. Cobalt theme the tweet.
Generic fork. That's beautiful.
Yeah. Cobalt next. If Ocean Next and Cobalt 2 made a baby in the form of a theme.
Wow. It's a whole story there.
There is, yeah. Okay, so let's look at. So this is good. Let's go back to the main branch. Let's pull down our changes. Dope. Let's also delete this branch.
Yeah.
Delete branch.
Which, by the way, I noticed we have a lot of branches.
Yeah.
I think
we should let's do some cleanup right now. Can I delete the branch here? Yeah.
I've been on a kick with that lately to clean up branches on my repos.
Delete the branch. Holy smokes.
Oh, which, by the way, what is your favorite way how do you clean up your local branches best?
Like this, like I'm doing now?
There's a feature in VS Code, I believe, that'll prune branches. I think if you do get prune or something. Get fetch prune. And supposedly that will delete local branches that are not used. But see, the problem is we still have a bunch in production. We need to delete some, but
why are there so many remote branches?
That's because they exist. We need to actually delete some.
Yeah, that didn't work. Back to deleting branches manually. Debouncer fixes now. Temp dark mode, get rid of that. Fix username and image, get rid of that. Delete branch, improve run. Who even knows? Yeah, this is all just like stuff that I was gonna do and then didn't do. Final fixes? I feel like it. No, never mind. Migration ID. Ugh, I don't miss those days at all.
Nice.
That was terrible. Custom auth.
Yeah, in production we have 28 branches.
You delete the ones on GitHub.
Yeah. Maybe I chose a bad idea of a thing to do. Stale. I'm going into our stale branches.
Yeah, I'm deleting your portion. It's getting the branch deleted. Okay. Let's switch to debouncer fixes, and then we'll look at what's changed here.
Man, I had a whole API test project, and I put actually a lot of work into it, and it's all completely invalid now, so I'm deleting it.
Oh.
It was really hard because you can't functions not totally written in a testable way, honestly.
Yeah, I actually found that out. I was trying to unit test, and I ran into that where I was like, oh, you can't just unit test these things.
Yeah.
All right, what did I do here? So the debouncer is what changed. The rest of this is just so here's the debouncer. There's this new object lock.
Oh yeah.
I don't know what this is doing until I've forgotten. Lock.
Yeah.
What is going on? What the heck is a lock? You know what, man?
Oh, explain it.
Explain it to me. Yeah, because I wrote this and I don't remember. I had to look all this up.
Well, so I mean, yeah, I want to see what it says because.
By the way, let me show you something cool. I haven't showed people this before, like because everything gets expanded by default. You can just hit this button and it'll collapse everything.
Bing! That's nice.
What we're doing? Oh yeah, we're going.
Yeah, Eduardo has a nice. It is a multi-threaded threading context. But yeah, it's for preventing. It could be access from multiple. Actually, I don't know.
Step by step. So namespace, class, fields, timer, lock. This is an object used to make sure there's only one thread can access the code at any point in time. So it's a threading issue.
Yeah, but Blazor WASM doesn't support multi-threading.
Then why does this work?
I mean, it doesn't hurt to lock, but it
doesn't make a difference. Timer creates a new timer that waits for the specified number of milliseconds and performs the action. Does it work? I don't see what's actually different here.
Well, so our specific issue is a timing thing where they happen out of sequence, right?
Yeah.
But I also think, yeah, maybe we can ask Copilot to fix that for us.
Why do we have a bunch of warnings?
Mhm.
We cleared all those. No, we need the API for this. Lies, it is running.
So Eduardo's asking questions, and I know that there was work for specific WASM multi-threading support for Blazor, and it hasn't landed and it's been like on a backlog for a bit.
You sure multi-threading doesn't work?
I don't know. This is what I get for talking off the top of my head. Blazor, WASM. So part of the thing, though, as I understand it, is WASM. Maybe I'm wrong. Experimental WebAssembly multi-threading. Was this merged? Still open. Yeah. So this is so there's multi-threading and JavaScript interop. I guess it's complicated. First version of multi-threaded debugging. There's like, yeah. Here, I'm going to share my screen so that I can. I need to explain this like I'm 5. Okay. Dun, dun, dun. So this is a big tracking issue, and then there's all these things, and some of them are merged and some are not. So yeah. So this has been going on.
It's not there.
So it's like somewhat there. I don't know.
Kind of.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's do. So like here, see, it's fixed.
How'd you fix it? I was distracted.
Well, actually, it's not fixed. There's still a problem.
So I'm sure. Let's try in Copilot and just say there's a timing issue where if I hit a character and a backspace quickly, the debouncer doesn't work, and then we'll see what it recommends. I hope it's not a double lock because that's a.
Let me see what's going on here first. So I hit T, and it waits. I hit the backspace. It doesn't even try. So it shouldn't. I'm going to type the word. I'm going to type T and then backspace, and it should not check for T at all. Okay.
Okay.
Watch the right-hand side. And
Nothing happens.
Doesn't happen. So this is actually a different error. This is throwing a validation error, but it's not. The debouncer is working. So if we did TEST, it should only check for the word test, and it does. If we do TEST and then remove it, okay. So it's working.
Okay.
Okay. So my guess is here, but you're saying we don't need this lock.
Well, I don't know. It's working, and so I wouldn't screw with it.
Chat, do we need the lock?
So the problem is that the validation is not revalidating.
I want to see if this works.
Okay.
Refresh.
I broke our program.
John?
What happened? Okay. What is this app for? That's a good question. This app is for putting a group of URLs on a page. So it makes it easy to make a collection of URLs. You can give it a custom name. You can share it. Yeah. All right. See, I mean, it wasn't broken. So
that totally breaks it.
So put the lock back in. Fine. I do want to go on record saying I did say it wasn't broken. It doesn't hurt. Locks are free, I guess.
All right. So we need to find where
that validation
details. Here we go. So what's happening here? Vanity URL is taken. This is what gets called whenever it changes.
Yeah. And that is a long-running operation.
Yes. So it sets the vanity. And then why is this not getting hit?
We should have more logging in here because we don't know what's happening timing wise.
I feel like we need to set the is that list is valid to true here. Because otherwise it's going to return here if it's empty or null. And actually,
that may be it.
So we're saying if that.
Yeah, but the other thing is,
I don't actually need this here. This is not ever going to happen.
You've already set that.
Because I already
now,
set
the one thing is, okay, there's a bunch of returns.
Oh. Is this bad coding?
Well, the problem is if we call return, we're never getting to that state is changed. Which I don't know if that's a problem or not, but.
We call state has changed and we don't know what.
I mean, we're calling state has changed just
for fun.
Yeah.
Well, let's see what happens. We may not need it. I mean, there's a lot of like artifacts left over from when we just call state has changed because we just don't know. Well, I don't know.
I think the debouncer should call state has changed every 500 milliseconds.
So
okay, so I think that may have been from the state has changed business.
Is it like why is this?
Oh, that's a new one. Is it running?
What's going on here? What am I doing? Hold on, I gotta fix this. I can't. Oh no, I deleted the wrong one. All right, so this is the. You know what? Just forget this. Just start all over.
Yeah. There's a question here. Can I get an ELI 5 about what a debouncer is or does?
You want to take that one?
I guess. I mean, so the idea here is every time he's typing a letter, we want to wait until he finishes typing, because so what that validation thing is doing is seeing if we've already if the vanity URL has already been taken by someone else. But we don't want to we don't want to run that check every time you press a character. We want to wait till there have been 500 milliseconds, until there's been like a pause. And then we say, okay, you're done typing for a bit. Let's check it. So it's a way to kind of prevent doing, it's a way to prevent doing something too often. I don't know.
Because I think the important details, when we check to see if the vanity URL is taken, we have to call the API.
Yeah.
And that takes time. And if you queue up like a dozen calls against the API every time someone hits a character, that just isn't going to work. So it's better to just wait until they stop typing.
Yep.
Debounce is a concept that comes from underscore. I believe,
Oh, yeah.
which is a JavaScript library from days of yore. This feels weird
And
to
it
me.
is a
Like,
common, yeah. So now nothing's happening.
yeah, like this doesn't feel right.
No, I think you may need to kill it and
Too many changes at once. What?
just stop and restart it. Did you do that?
I did that like twice. This won't work, but we can at least watch it, try to check. What happened?
There's a console warning. I think it's still not actually running. Oh. What is the problem? The problem is our validation is completely broken. Nothing is validating now. It's a free-for-all.
I don't think the app's running. I feel like we fixed all these warnings and they're back. What is happening here, dude? Look at this. Exited with error code.
What? It's exploded.
Failed. Address already in use. Okay, so watch this. One of the best things about Copilot is that it makes you a terminal expert. You're like you don't need to know.
Forgetting that. And what is the key for that? Control I or something?
Control I.
Okay.
Yeah, like you could do anything in the terminal now, even if you don't know what you're doing. Although that didn't seem to work. List all TCP processes.
Yeah. So obviously, we have something running. You can kill it in the task manager, but what Burke's trying to do is just PowerShell kill it.
Yeah, because I know how to do this in Bash. You do this all the time, right? It's just LSOF. I don't think.
Yeah, debugger attached.
It is there. So how do we kill?
I mean, you could just restart VS Code probably.
Yeah, but I want to.
Because it's the owning process.
But then it won't. Why not? Cannot stop because the following access is denied.
Yeah, it's.
So, yeah, we're in some kind of. We got into some kind of crazy state here.
Yeah.
And PowerShell. Okay. You know what? See ya.
Yeah. So more questions on the debounce. So yeah, something like a check button or on losing focus, that's less of an issue unless you expect someone to click it really fast or something. It's more, I think debounce is something I've mostly seen on typing validation.
Yeah. So, but I think this is a good point because there's different interactions that you can use here. One of them is that you just don't check until they click publish.
Yeah.
Right. And so when they click publish, then they wait a little bit longer.
Yeah.
But so who said that? Because this is actually a really good
Dungeon Goat Studio.
The Dungeon Goat Studio. Great name for the studio, by the way. As a user, this would probably be a more frustrating experience. You don't get to find out that the vanity that you chose. So everything's ready to go. You're ready to send it. And then you get told, no, you can't do that. So you got to fix it. Then you got to grab your mouse. You got to click the button. Nope, that one's taken too. Then you got to fix it. Then you got to grab your mouse. Then you got to hit the button.
It's like the old days of forms where you'd fill out a form and you click it and then it'll say like you got something wrong on the third thing. And you're like, okay, fine, you go fix it. And then it's like, oh, now you got this other error. And it's like,
right. Everyone here who's filled out a form knows what it's like to fill out a form and then be told when you submit the form, nope, that isn't right.
Yeah.
I don't believe that's a very good experience, especially when you are on a mobile device. It's even worse. You want people to fall into the pit of success, right? Yeah. As they go, you want to nudge them in the right direction.
That's part of why the single page app and JavaScript, front end dev like actually took off, is because people got so sick of the do something on the client, submit it, wait for a while, and then like get your response.
And especially when the validation has to occur in the database, right? That's the tricky part here, is that we need to check the database to make sure that it's valid. Can't do it client side.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And then this is the worst. And then they blank your, you fill something in and then it resets the form.
Oh yeah, that's awesome. Yeah. And it's so many people, you know, John, I forget, I think I've said this before, but my wife will try to do things on her phone that really should be done on a desktop, right? Like she's trying to book travel, you know, and she'll be like,
watching. Yeah.
Right. It's so painful to watch. And I'll tell her, like, you need to do that on a computer.
Yeah.
My video just froze. Oh, there. Right. But she doesn't want to. She wants to use her phone. And I've realized, just like as watching her, this is probably normal for most people, right?
Yeah.
They're not like you and me. They don't look at it and go, oh yeah, that's not a website I want to interact with in this form factor.
It's like, well, I'm right here. Why didn't we, you know?
Right. And she's like, and she'll say to me, why don't things just work? Why is everything so bad? Because from a consumer perspective, like, technology just sucks.
Yeah.
Websites suck. They're just constantly throwing errors. Things are constantly crashing and going wrong. And I have to tell her, like, it's really hard to build a bulletproof experience. It is extremely hard.
Yep. All the different things that can go wrong. And so many weird things are like temporary timing issue, or like, you know, you hit it once every random.
Or tell people, like, you just need to do it again.
Yeah.
Like, that is to people, they're like, what? Why didn't it work the first time?
Yeah.
Whereas to us, we're like, come on, don't have unrealistic expectations. Okay? Okay. Starting this thing up again.
Speaking of which, I'm sure it's going to work this time.
I'm with you. I hate using 99% of websites on my phone too. Like, I will read content on my phone, but I am not interacting with your freaking website on my phone. No, thank you.
And it's really frustrating to me when a service doesn't have a website. They're like, go get our app. And I'm like, oh, I use your stupid app. You know?
Oh yeah, that really makes me mad. Download our app with the little banner in the front. How about I just terminate my relationship with you immediately? Okay. Okay, so this is working again. We got out of that terrible broken state. So let's try here. Let's look at our console. We're going to do T.
Nothing.
What is going on? How did we just break this so badly?
It's complete. It was mostly working. Can we debug it?
It isn't even hitting this.
No, nothing's happening. See, connecting browser is still taking a while. It's still not even like working.
But the rest of it's working. It's calling /me. Maybe it's hold on. Let's do a thing. Just because I feel like I'm in the Twilight Zone. I need to know. Okay, so it is working. Okay, we are there. Now, why it's not making this call is a problem. This is broken. So it's not even trying.
I can answer this question. What is that theme? It is Cobalt 2. Because I asked about it earlier. Okay.
Oh, I wonder if it's because we're not calling state has changed.
That's what I was. Yeah. So, and in order to fix that, I think you need to add it back in at the end, but also every time. Oh yeah, you could add it there. But then every time you call return, I think you need to actually call status change before that. But status change wouldn't cause it not to do the thing.
Okay, so let's put some of this stuff back. This was here. which we said it's never going to get hit. And we were setting list is valid is equals true. Okay, this is what we had before.
Mm-hmm.
So let's go back and see if making sure. Okay.
Question: how come we're not using live share? We do some, but usually I think we've just kind of, it seems like it's a little simpler for one of us to code and the other person to do the.
I mean, we can attach the debugger, but I don't. It's just faster.
Yeah. Okay, what is happening?
So this should write out every single time the debouncer runs. Yeah. It's just not running at all. What did we change? We didn't really change anything.
Question: from what platform? So we're streaming in two places. We're streaming on Twitch, on the Visual Studio channel, and we're also streaming on YouTube on the dotnet channel. This is weird.
This is so bizarre.
Are we debug writing out when it goes into that function?
Yeah, we can. We're debug writing out when it goes into debouncer. Does anybody else say fixin'? You say fixin', John?
Sometimes.
Ah.
It's a good word.
Okay.
Okay.
Now it's
okay. This is one of those computer things, right? It's like
now it's working because why wouldn't it work? Okay, so let's take this out. So we know that this is working. So what do we want to do now here? Now we want to say, I think you're right here. What we want to do is we actually want to return the valid state, I believe. No, the whole purpose of this function is to set this value.
Mm-hmm.
That's all it does.
You could make here's the thing. Instead of doing that, instead of setting the value directly, we could have a function that sets it and calls state as changed. And then all of those returns, you know what I mean? And it takes a Boolean. I mean, either way, that's
how would we do that? Would that be with it just a function that does that?
Yeah, just a small function. I mean, it would do those three things. It would set the thing. It would call state as change.
We can't return. Well, we could just return the function, right? We could just do like return set state has set no set.
Or you don't even have to return anything. I think what you're doing is
set validation state, and that would take whether or not it's valid and a message. Okay. So now write that function for me, Copilot. You know what I'm going to do? Bam.
Mm-hmm.
And then we need to return. This returns void, but we're returning void here too, so it doesn't matter.
You don't need to even return anything.
Well, yeah, you do, because you don't want it to execute the rest of these things. It doesn't need to.
Oh, right.
Right?
Yeah.
So you want to return out of this. But you can't. Anonymous function.
On the next line, just call return. Just call the function.
Should be a one-liner. Then here, I wonder if it'll do it for me automatically. Come on.
If you start set
validation state. This is like where I really need you, Copilot. Okay, I really need you now. Something's wrong. Something's real wrong. Oh, double quotes.
What happened?
I hit fat fingered it.
Oh, okay.
That's close enough.
Yeah. It really wants it. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, and then all of this can come out. But we actually do need to set that the list is, we do need to set the valid state.
Yeah, I think it's fine to include that last thing.
Do we? No, if it's empty, we're setting it to true.
You still want to call state as changed at the end.
So let's say that it's not empty. It does contain only letters and numbers.
Yep.
So we do want to do, the last thing we want to do is do
state is changed.
Set validation state true and pass an empty string. Yeah.
And then return.
We don't need to return. It's the last statement. Right?
Yes. No. I think you're good. Oh, let's see.
It's a void function. So
if it's void, yeah.
The only reason we return here, here, and here is so that we don't have to
return.
Yeah. I'm not saying this is good code. It's probably a better way to format this, or a better way to. If Bob Martin was here, he'd probably be tearing us apart.
Okay. So hopefully this works, and then we're going to write we could start on the tracking thing. I'm really excited about that feature.
I'm sorry, I've got you sidelined on. This is not fun stuff.
I was like totally expecting. I was like, we're going to code. Okay, that's cool. Okay. That seems good, right? Do you fix the thing also with capitalization?
Yep.
All right.
Already fixed that by just doing a casing on the.
Janisku's on my team. Vanity theme. Got to do it.
Okay. All right, that's it. Let's check it in.
You've seen those UI challenges where people are like, what is the worst way to set a phone number? People do it with like slider bars or like.
Oh, yeah. That's pretty funny, man. Yeah. I already have a PR open for this. So, okay. So now you want to talk about analytics.
You want to talk? You cut out there at the end.
You want to talk about analytics?
Yes, very excited. Okay, so maybe it's easy. We add in a field or whatever into the record at the level of the. Well, there's a few ways we can do it. You could track it at the list level and just have a view count.
Keep in mind, I really need to get rid of this table. This is the backup. We can only have so many collections in here because I have to start paying for it at some point. Like at some point, you have too many collections.
Well, couldn't we track?
If we can keep it in the same collection, that would be nice.
Yeah. Yep. So directly in the document.
So here, I love to see this. Look at this. Looks like somebody did this for Windows Terminal. Beautiful. This is so great. Look, because we can look at this. We have no idea who this is. There's no identifying information.
Yep.
So what we can do here is we can just have a field that is views.
Yes. So we could have, let's look at in the class, in the link bundle class. Couldn't we just add that? That's in the shared thing.
Yeah, we can. That would be, I actually need to use the Solution Explorer. James is going to be mad at me.
I know.
All right. Sorry, James.
It's in the not the shared project.
Sorry. We've got shared and shared. It's a little confusing.
Okay, I know.
So it's here. So basically, all we want to do is, we need to Should we start coding? Do we have time?
Yeah.
We can start.
We can get a start. Why not? I'm very excited. This is going to go so smooth. It's going to be shocking.
Doesn't really make sense. Analytics for your face. That's not what I meant at all. Like, we're going to analyze your face. Just said it was for you.
Face analytics.
That did not work. That did not work. So we'll do
I think
like,
oh yeah, I forget now why I needed to include the property name.
Because they're lowercase. Like, it's got a lowercase.
Yeah, and then you can tell some things to override it, but yeah.
Now here's a consideration. We're about to add a field to the database. Okay, this is not trivial, because if we want to change it at some point in time, it becomes very difficult. So, do we want to have an analytics node on instead? So it's like an analytics object, which inside of that has views now, but it might have other stuff in the future.
Well, what other analytics could there be? I mean, there's basically views of the list bundle, and there's clicks of each link. And that seems like about it.
You could have a time that people spent on the page, like a bounce. You could have whether or not people viewed the QR code. You could have the number of shares, because we have Twitter, we have social share buttons.
Yeah. I don't. Do we get the refer?
We can get the refer, so that we can tell people, like, here's where your traffic is coming from.
Here's who's linking to you.
Oh man, that would require, really, we would not want to store that information. Okay.
Yeah.
In a normal relational database scenario, we would not want to store that information together. You're not in a normal scenario here.
Yeah. I think also high level, like realistically, we could track tons of stuff, but the only thing I've ever heard people really wanting is views and clicks on this.
I just don't want to set ourselves up to the point where at some point in the future we're in a Twitter scenario, you know?
Yeah. So you would create a different analytics class. The only thing with that is tracking. If we're tracking stuff outside of the link bundle, it gets a lot more complicated. It's very easy. If you look at the original document, if each link has a click count on it, and the analytic, I mean, if you wanted to add, I can't think of that many things we'd actually want to track. There's views, and then you mentioned a bunch of stuff in there, but the only things I can think is like views and refers that you'd actually really want.
So refers would be a giant array of objects.
Yeah. And that I'm not sure that we want to store that. Like, I don't know necessarily if that's going to contain.
Here's another thing, John. If we store the number of views, that isn't really granular enough. What if I want to know how many people saw it in the last 7 days? I no longer know that. But if we just had an array of refers, then we can send back a count of that. If we capture for each request, we capture the refer and the date time that it happened.
Yeah. Okay, but going back, the refer thing, I know I mentioned it, but are we going to get ourselves in any trouble by tracking that? Like, not trouble, but do we, you know what I mean? The same way we don't want to track people's usernames. is that potentially like something that we don't want to be tracking? I don't think so. I mean, it's only visible when you're viewing, but.
So first of all, we don't, it is certainly the case that we would probably need a cookie banner to be compliant with GDPR.
Mm-hmm.
However, that would not be that hard to do, but I think that that's basically it, right? And we may not even need that, right? Because we're not actually doing anything with cookies.
Yeah.
We're not selling your information. We may at some point, though. That's not off the table. We've got to have a retirement plan here.
Yeah, yeah.
If we're just capturing like the browser, because we're going to get your browser, we're going to know your location, general location.
Mm-hmm.
I think the real question is here is just how do we store the data from each request?
Mm-hmm.
And that we have a couple of options here. This could be like a requests, which is like a request object, and each object has refer, date, time, whatever else fields.
Mm-hmm. I think that's basically it, refer and date, time. That's going to be more complicated. And instead of just bumping a number every time you view plus equals 1, then we're going to be doing queries on stuff.
Well,
yeah.
If the query would be select count where, date. I don't know that we need to go much further than being able to limit by date range, right? I think you want to limit by date range.
Okay. Yeah.
Do you strongly agree or disagree?
Yeah, sounds good. I don't know. Any thoughts on the chat? I guess that's helpful to know, like, hey, this thing all of a sudden picked up this past month or whatever.
Calling it a link bundle request. And it has now, do we want to parse the refer into an object before we put it in the database? Are we just going to slap it in there, let raw, and parse it on the way out? We got to parse it at some point.
And even there, I think we only want to store. I mean, yeah. I think we only want to store the domain name. Maybe.
No, that's not. Store the domain name. Sorry, say again.
Like, for instance, if it's, I don't know, in an email, or if it's in a. This is more thinking than I was prepared to do.
This feature requires some. I feel like we need to regroup on this and figure out how exactly, what fields do we want to capture. I think this is probably enough, but I mean, enough in terms of like this object. It's just what.
Well, and then date, right? Date, time.
Yeah. Well, yes, but like, I don't think we should store this as a string, right? I think it should be something like domain. Browser, what information, then we'll parse it off on the way in and stick it in the database in a manner that we can deal with.
Okay.
That's my proposal.
I guess that, like I could ask, we, like internally at Microsoft, we use these on community stand-ups, and people have said like, hey, is there a way I can get my views on this? Like,
yeah, let's do some user testing.
Yeah. Should we even have like we could put a thing on, we could put a poll or something like, hey, if you're logged in, and it could link to a GitHub issue or something and say,
please go vote on this.
Yeah.
I mean, I go back to just saying like what information is going to be in that header and the date, time. And that's really what there's nothing else we can capture. Right? right?
Yeah.
And then in the future, we could capture other things, like we could add in social clicks and QR code views and things like that.
Yeah.
Those can be different fields in the collection.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
One nice thing about using a document database is you can change it over time, and you just have to default to, if it's not there, it's not there, you know.
It's super nice. And you can also say, like, say a list gets 1 million views. The document database does not care if you stick 1 million referrals in with the link bundle itself, right? This seems counterintuitive because you would never do that in a relational system, because you'd be pulling in nope. It doesn't care. All it cares about is what you actually query for. So all we have to do is adjust the query to say, if you're looking at a link bundle, just give me the link bundle details.
Yeah.
Right? And if you're looking at analytics, just give me the past 28 days of these fields inside the object.
Yeah, that's true.
There was a guy, James Mickens, that did this this talk called do you know what I'm about to talk about?
I don't know which talk, but I love James. He's so good.
James Mickens, computers are a sadness. I am the cure.
I actually I interviewed him on my old podcast.
I cannot. This is from Monitorama 2014, which feels like an eternity ago. We should have like a live viewing party where we just watch this talk. But I don't, James, I don't think I can do this in 2024. Not at work. However, I cannot recommend highly enough that you go watch this talk when he talks about NoSQL. It is one of the best talks I have ever seen on any subject.
Yeah, it's just so like his delivery is so great. Everything it's amazing. It's
brilliant.
He used to work at Microsoft.
Yeah, he was in Microsoft Research, I think. Now he's like he's at Harvard or something.
Yeah, sounds right. Wonderful.
Anyway, if you want to feel bad about your own presentation skills, go watch this. Watch this dude absolutely destroy a keynote.
Okay, so I believe for where we're at, we should at least create an issue and put down our thoughts, because our discussion here has been useful.
Okay.
You know what I mean? We're going to forget.
Yeah.
I'm going to forget.
Yeah, you're right. We will.
I'm going to forget your name in 10 minutes.
Dude. Okay. My memory, especially as I age, is getting markedly worse.
Analytics, yeah.
So it's like, what do we need to track for a list, for a link bundle? It's date time, refer data.
And then for each link, it's clicks. I think that's it.
Do we want to capture the refer data for each? No, we don't care. We have already got it.
Yeah.
Do we want to capture the date time of the click? We do.
Janisky is mentioning open telemetry, but that's kind of more, that's a different thing generally. That's telemetry. Well, I mean, it can be. What I've seen that used for more is like analyzing how your application's running in real time. Whereas this is long-term, like OpenTelemetry is often like timing and application health, whereas this is specifically analytics data, which is going to be a little different. That looks good. Cool.
All right, I have a 1 o'clock.
All right.
After this, so.
All right. Well, and you're going to need some coffee or something.
Yeah, play us out.
Okay, let's do it. Bye, everybody.